Welcome back to the Titanium Hangar. This is Mike, and I'm coming at you with the weekly news and review for March 12th, 2023. Of course, we got some Transformers stuff. Lots of Transformers news. A lot of it we've already seen. We also have some Turtles stuff going on. Some Turtles stuff going on this week. There's also some Super 7 reaction that we got to talk about when it comes to Dungeons and Dragons, and it's got a huge fan reaction, and some Star Wars stuff, believe it or not, all coming up. First off, some new stuff at Show Z. This is pretty cool, and I ordered this. This is the fourth party Transformers G1 Optimus Prime. Does come in a G1-esque box, and it looks to have styrofoam and all that kind of stuff. And the one thing about this, according to the details, it doesn't have diecast, which I'm not sure if that's true or not, so I'll get it reviewed, of course, but I don't know how long they'll last. For $35, you get all the parts and pieces, so if you had a G1 one and you needed parts, I'm going to see if this fits. There's also a G1 Devastator for $65, and then a G1 Defensor for $60, and that's pretty cool. If you're into all this stuff, if you missed out on the Hasbro reissue, then you could pick this one up, and I don't think Hasbro's reissued Defensor, so pretty cool, pretty good way to get these if you want them. And the mystery solved for PTO1, the Pangu toys that made that Legends Omega Supreme, which great figure. I did a review on it, all that kind of stuff, but I was going to joke and say it's an Optimus Prime, and I was going to joke and make a joke that it's going to be a masterpiece. It's not a masterpiece. This is actually the Magic Square version upscaled to, I believe, 18 inches. Don't know why, but it's an 18-inch version of Magic Square. It is $150, and if you're interested in it, PTO1 Commander. Okay, so getting into some Masterpiece news, then we're going to just get into pretty much everything that was going on at TFcon that I see. But Make Toys is putting out more pictures of their MTM RM16 Jetstream. Looks pretty good. The promo pics look great. Looks like a fantastic figure, and Coneheads, we need some Coneheads. Here's the alt mode. I think the alt mode does look pretty good too, all over. And then, of course, they put out pictures of their other one. This is MTRM17 Booster, and I think it looks pretty good. I think these pictures represent it very well, and hopefully there's solid figures. I do have their first one they put out, and it was Endgame, that now the end is over. It's not quite like Marvel Legends, where it actually, the MCU, where it actually sort of ended it for a while there. But anyway, does look good, and they're continuing these great pictures. And there's pictures of the sort of Ultra Magnus is the MS-02W Star Commander. Now, we saw a digital render of this for whatever reason. Now we see it in real life. This was at TFcon, but I don't think it's worked really into the slideshows. So with that, I want to point out the smokestack's not broken. Okay, so getting into some TFcon stuff. This is a third-party product panel review. And so here's some of the nanobots that are from half the Battle toys. And for the size, they're kind of pricey. I think you're going to be able to get a set of these. I'm not really sure about all that kind of stuff. But anyway, just showing off some pictures here. And then this is more or less some of them. And here are some other ones that they had. They actually have some color on them and painted and all that kind of stuff. So they look pretty cool. If you want them this super small, then it's Half Battle Toys. Check them out. So there appears to be some bot figures from Top Notch Toys. They don't appear to transform, so I don't know much about them, and I didn't get to see any third-party panel stuff going on here. So this is pretty cool, pretty interesting. But there is 01 Apollo, 03 Tarantula and Wasp, and then Athena, Argus, Volkman, a whole bunch of different ones here. So it's pretty cool, pretty interesting. If this is something you're interested in, start looking for Astrobots. If you are looking for non-transforming, because I believe they don't transform, robot, mech kind of thing. And with this panel, it kind of bounces around from Masterpiece to Legends and stuff like that. But anyway, this is Magic Square, and we've already seen this before, so we're not going to spend much time on it. But it is their take on Bruticus and all that kind of stuff, trying to find any new pictures that we haven't already seen. And we have seen this before, but I think this is a new picture of their Brawl, so that looks pretty good, pretty cool. It's just nice to see real figures in action. Is that Brawl? Yeah, it is, right? Okay, so New Age entering the game here, showing off their Power Glide, which looks really cool, pretty good overall. So Legend Scale Power Glide, if you're in on all that, looks very well painted, super shiny, all that kind of stuff. I'm guessing this is the real deal and not just renders. They've also got Power Glide, they're calling it Goblin. It's a white and blue version, so that's pretty interesting if you're into that. And I'm sure they're going to repaint this guy 15 times. Here's a teal version that they call Flying Worm. And yeah, New Age is kind of fun like that in a way. I mean, for me, I personally just, for the most part, just want the standard figure. But there are a couple of the one-offs that look really cool and kind of grab your attention. Then they have Frankenstein, which is Autobot Spike or Autobot X or whatever you want to call him. But pretty cool. So this is obviously non-transforming, but he disassembles. So I guess that's cool. So you can take them apart and stuff. So you can do more with it than just an action figure. I like that. So that's cool. Something to do. I always wondered if somebody could figure out a way to make this transform into a weird looking jalopy though. Alright, they're going to throw their hat in the ring. New Age is going to be making a huffer. So Balin is what they're calling this one. Balin? He's bailing on you. So this is another direct competition with Magic Square. We're going to see that all the way through this. Here we go with their pipes called Dwalin. Dwalin. And then Philly. And so they got to do a wind charger there. They got to do it. They got to take on directly. Okay, so with all this, where's their gears? Are they just behind? They can't, get their gears out. So anyway, it's still kind of cool. It's going to be fun. It will be fun to kind of compare this to the Magic Square ones. And here is their sludge Rhedosaurus. Rhedosaurus. Anyway, it's pretty cool looking sludge overall. And I like what they're doing. I like that they're not giving us the exact same ones that Magic Square is giving us. This is an official pick, which we haven't seen yet until the slideshow. So the slideshow did include pics that we saw last week with the Snarl or all that kind of stuff from Magic Square. So still, this looks good, and they'll fit in well. I mean, of course, it's going to be a little bit shinier than what we see from the Magic Square, probably. So now we're getting into Fans Toys, and this is the FT56 Variator. This is their gears, and it looks good. I gotta say, it looks good. So I want to say this before we get into the rest of these. The fact that most of the stuff we've seen all this before from Fans Toys, and it's exciting, but it's not exciting at the same time. We're gonna see some different stuff that you can do with yours, and I think these are real product shots versus renders and all that kind of stuff. But on one hand, we all want to see a new figure kind of getting revealed. On the other hand, we don't want to get overloaded and inundated with 70 figures at once. So it's a fine balance. I think it should have thrown one new one out there. But going into it, I think this looks good, and I'm really happy with what I'm seeing. So I don't find this as a disappointment, even though all these figures we know about. But they're including this Variator, and they're talking about the Swerve, which is going to be Diverge. And so they're showing both of the alt modes right here. So you can see we're going from one into the other, and the similarities, yet the differences between the two. And there's the bot modes. And I like the chrome thighs in a way. I think it's strange. It was almost like it doesn't fit, but I still like it for some reason. Don't know why. And then we get into what they're calling the Inquisitor, and this is their Scourge / Sweeps, and he looks very interesting. And one thing that I really didn't notice from I guess you could say the renders before, are you could call them his calves or his upper lower legs. That's just interesting. It's just my mind or my eye is drawn to that part of him, but he's going to be painted really well. It's going to give the X-Transbots 1 a run for their money. Here's the alt mode and showing the head and all that kind of stuff. I guess I'm not going to show every single picture that came out about this stuff, but it does look pretty good overall. I mean, obviously it's going to look great in both modes. Curious about the transformation though. Here's the team that we've been waiting for like 5 years to finally complete the Fans Toys team, but you can still mix and match. You can still throw an X-Transbots 1 in there. There's no problem with that at all. But the fact that Sweeps and Scourge and there's more than one, I like having more than one, not only company, but colors, because X-Transbots done two different colors of this, but I don't know if I want Fans Toys to repaint this thing 5 times, though. And there's a size comparison alt mode shot next to Quietus, and what a nice looking team. Very nice looking team. I bet you that Scourge weighs, it's got some weight. It weighs a lot, I bet. All that diecast. So Bingo Toys is making what is said to be a Black Arachnia. I don't see the actual alt mode. In fact, they only showed a silhouette. I'm not even going to show that. It's a silhouette of the alt mode. So anyway, it still looks pretty interesting, pretty cool. Very early, very early. It's almost like they really weren't ready for this. They just threw something out there. So still pretty cool. Black Arachnia right there. I'm happy with what I got from Takara. So, but other people would like to get multiple iterations of their favorite character. If that's their favorite character. Okay, so we've got pictures of 01 Studio Cell, Seed, or what I'm told is Primus. And so with that, we've been seeing this for a year now, so I'm surprised it's not out or we don't have actual color shots, but still pretty cool, pretty interesting if you're in on this. I'm actually not in on this. I don't really need one, but I think it looks really cool, and I do have the Zeta Unicron, and the Zeta Unicron is great, so this is going to be a nice companion piece for a Zeta Unicron, or standalone if you're into that era. Here's the alt mode, and they go about it different than they did with the 01 Studio Cell Unicron. So the stand is different, so there's some different stuff going on here, but still pretty cool, pretty interesting. I do like the surface detail. It does really, really look and feel like a planet. Okay, so this one got me a little confused. This is the MX-01 from X-Transbots, and it says Mini in the title. It's not Fuzz, and it's probably going to function better than Fuzz. I personally think it looks better than Fuzz, except for the feet. There's a few aspects of Fuzz that would be better than this, but I think this is better overall, and it's probably going to be better engineered to not... Well, at least it'll probably look good in its alt mode. And when it's in its alt mode, it will probably go together. Now, it does look like they had to take some liberties if they are making this in a Legends scale. It is a Mini, so I'm guessing Legends scale. So not much info I have on this, but looks interesting, looks pretty cool. I'm just curious where this is going. I mean, I don't know. Why would you start a Legends one before your Masterpiece one's out? I don't know. Then we get to a very confusing section, the Iron Factory section. I probably think this needs its own video. There is just so much between these Seekers and everything else. So I picked a few things that maybe they're repaints, maybe they're all new. I mean, this is a crazy amount of stuff. Anyway, starting out with these Seekers, going into these guys here, and I'm really thinking, I mean, that's a Tarn in there, right? So this is part of that whole era and that line, and so they look good, and they look like they're going to be pretty big. It's a couple of really big figures here for Iron Factory. So also we're getting some of these guys. I don't know the names. I don't know. I can't really keep up with what they got going on here, because so much of this stuff, it looks like stuff they've already made and they're just recoloring it, and it's reissued. So it's crazy. A crazy amount of stuff that they got going on. So it probably needs its own video, and I don't want to spend 15 minutes just talking about Iron Factory and all that. But this is really cool what they got going on, and let's go ahead and move on, because we'll be here all day. But I will tell you, female Seekers, Combiners, Primal Prime, Leadfoot, Galvatron, Inferno, Red Alert, Ardfire, Grapple, Smokescreen, Silverstreak, Prowl, Animated Prowl, Brawn, Outback, Lyokaiser, Springer, The Fallen, Sideswipe, Sunstreaker, Optimus Primal, Cheetor, Starscream, Thundercracker, Skywarp, to name a few of what they got going on. So getting into Fans Hobby, this is the MB13B Bossman. This is their exclusive for this event, and it looks pretty good overall. And it's pretty slick. I think it's pretty slick that they've got this and reworked it into an exclusive. It just makes the whole event kind of fun if you're into these kinds of things. And we've got Fans Hobby showing off their MB23A, looking pretty good overall. And also looks good in the alt mode. Got some Power Master action going right here, so looking good. And MB20, which is supposed to be Armada Overload, I guess. And so with that, I think we've seen all these pictures before, so really don't want to spend too much time on all this. So I'm going to get into something that we haven't quite seen just yet with another company. So Vectron Labs has their prototype now, and so the thing with this is that there's a lot of people trying to say that this wasn't going to come out, and they're done for, and it was a big concern and a scare for it. I'm happy to see that it's going forward, and they're moving forward with it. And we have a prototype, so that's really good that we have a prototype to take a look at. Here is the back of that prototype. So like, there's a lot of business going on with this thing. I think this is going to be a very G1-esque Devastator. And Toy World needs a little bit of competition out there. And for this to be Super G1 and not the Toy World stylized version. So still, we haven't seen much more than just this, but this is exciting because it's moving forward. He's a big boy. There he is next to MP36. So he's not a small bot. You know, when you think of Constructicons, it's 6 smaller bots make a big bot, but it's 6 big bots that make a really big bot. So that'll work. So MMC is making the Eris Armadon Female Armada Megatron. So that's interesting. And so this is some kind of surprise out of the blue. That's pretty cool. It's pretty cool that they're coming up with some different stuff. And MMC's always kind of done some different stuff, stayed in their lane. And they definitely are not going for G1 or even G2 at all. My favorite thing coming out of Mastermind Creations is this motif, this RMX 10EX, and this is their rewind. This is the larger full-size cassette that transforms into a bot, which I prefer. I actually like these cassettes the most. They're bigger, there's more you can do with them, but there's not much paint on them, so really I wish they would paint them up a little bit more, kind of like what Fans Toys did, but still I like them, and I still haven't gotten the one from the last con. I haven't got it yet, so anyhow, this is their still jaw, but I still look forward to every one of these releases. So, and they want to showcase their hotspot, which it's pretty cool. It's still kind of a prototype phase and digital renders to support it. If that's kind of the route that you want to go there, you can go that route with it. And here it goes into sort of a base mode, which I didn't know this existed, but there it is. I think I saw this somewhere once. But, so what this has to do is this whole Scramble City where you can connect it with other things, I believe. And they're still kind of keeping that going. But they do a whole lot of stuff with it, by the way. But the thing that matters the most is, does it combine? And yeah, it combines. So they are doing some good work on this. Man, I really wish this thing was just 3 inches taller. If it was just a little bit bigger, I'd be in on this one over the X-Transbots. But I think it's looking great so far. It's shaping up well. A couple of pictures I picked from the dealer room. I'm not going to go into too many pictures from the dealer room. This is RoboSyn in their Gold Prime, and when he's a Gold Prime, I just didn't realize how wide he was. I've never seen it in person, and I've only seen him in pictures. But once he's painted, the breakup doesn't look so bad. But I'm not saying it's a bad thing. It's just saying that when it's all gold, you see it for what it is, and he's pretty wide. He's a wide guy there, but of course with all the servos and all that kind of stuff in there. But gold. Pretty cool. 3.0 showed off a lot of stuff, but I think that this is really the only thing new, so I'm just going to talk about it real quick. But this is their Sideswipe, and I think it looks pretty cool. A stylized version of Sideswipe, and what would you expect? It kind of feels like a younger Sideswipe. That's just, when I'm looking at it, it feels like he's a younger Sideswipe. Now, he doesn't transform, and he does look cool, though. But is he a transformer who doesn't transform? Well, that's, of course, the endless topic and debate. One more picture from the dealer room, and it's the Fans Toys Parkour. And I do want to point out that he's showing up. People are getting them. Not quite at Show Z just yet. So I'll be getting mine whenever they show up there. But I think it looks good. And I've heard a lot of positive things about it. And I've heard people say that they're happy with it. So that's pretty awesome, pretty cool. But I'm wondering when we're going to get a Bumblebee and all that kind of stuff. But right now, people are happy to have a pretty solid cliff jumper overall. In other Transformers news that wasn't part of TFcon and all that kind of stuff, so we do have a giant 20-foot Optimus Prime and a 13-foot tall Optimus, whatever you want to call that thing. But this is interesting because this is something that was made by, well, their life-size statues made out of fiberglass. So anyway, it's still pretty cool. It's pretty interesting. Pretty exciting. I'd be more excited if it was G1 stuff, but you know, it is what it is. Trying to support the movie and all that. But still, it's impressive that this is going on. Okay, so Studio Series mainline stuff. This is gaming. It is the War for Cybertron. game. This is Barricade, which I played the game. I don't really remember Barricade so much in it, but it's been a long time since I played the game. So, with that, there's Assault Mode, and pretty freaky deaky looking and interesting. So, this is, I guess, the new era, new subline that's going on with Studio Series. Trying to keep Studio Series alive. Here's Bumblebee, and yeah, it's kind of weird looking, but there he is. It's interesting that they're going this route. I'm surprised, but there it is. Here's the alt mode, and I don't know, maybe I appreciate the alt mode now more than I did back then, that's for sure, but this interesting looking Bumblebee overall. Then here we go with the Optimus Prime, who is stacked. He's pretty stacked. He's a big, beefy dude with his axe, and he's got it all that. You can put all that on him too. You can combine it on his alt mode. There's his alt mode. And yeah, that looks familiar. I remember seeing that in the game. So I certainly was wrong about this, and I was confused and didn't understand when we saw the fuzzy promo image of these. I thought they were masterpiece. This is just redoing the stuff that's already on the shelves right now. Like, literally still on the shelves right now. So, well, maybe some places they're not. So anyway, these are interesting. It's going to be the Studio Series Rise of the Beasts and Eternal Beast Showdown 2-pack. So pretty cool if you missed out on these, you want to pick them up, then it's give you another option. Here's your beast modes, in case you didn't know. I mean, I actually think I still have a Megatron in the car I got for like $11 or $17 or something really cheap. So it's because I picked all these other ones up on clearance, it makes it hard to spend full price on these guys. We got the Legacy Shrapnel. It looks pretty good. I like it. Let's bring on all these Insecticons and start getting into deluxe Insecticons and all that fun stuff. Like, why not? They've already done one deluxe Insecticon with just as a repaint. I don't want them to go that route. They need a full-on deluxe Insecticons. I mean, we did it in the 80s. Why can't we do it now? But it looks good. I really like it. More of what we've seen. Animated Prowl. I like the way they did these pictures, so you can just throw one picture up and quickly see both modes and decide, do you like it? Do you not? Do you want to get it? Do you not? I like that they did that. Here's Metal Hawk, and I think this looks really cool. I didn't pre-order a single mainline Transformer in all of this, so nothing really struck me, and if I see it at the store, I see it. But this is one thing that I think is going to be kind of cool, though. This is Skyquake, bought an alt mode, and the cool part about Skyquake we're about to see, and we've seen these pictures before. I don't think they were official, or the official ones we saw didn't do this, I don't think. But anyway, we got a combining mode here, so that's pretty cool too. So, interesting how all that works, but I guess we'll see more in the future. So we did get some pictures of the new Jazz, and this is going to be the Cybertronian version, the buzzworthy Bumblebee. It's showing up at retail now in the US from what I'm hearing, but here he is next to what we've gotten with Studio Series, and looks pretty good overall. A little shorter, I guess. I mean, if that's the Studio Series one, I believe it is. So a little shorter, but I think he looks really good. This is a really cool option. I just like the subline because there's not that many they can make that are true Cybertronian. Like, they made a whole siege line calling those Cybertronian. This is true Cybertronian. I like it. And there he is with his picture of the bot mode. Toy box, still box. Great photography. That looks fantastic. I'm curious where he gets backgrounds and all that kind of stuff. But that looks awesome. I really love this. This is fantastic. They should just keep making all these. We do need the Wheeljack next. Okay, getting to other news. We've got Ramen Toy coming out with a head for the Super 7. We're going to see Super 7 stuff coming up here, but this is a head option for the Super 7 Rat Royale, or Wrecking. Is it Wrecking? So it's going to look more like the toy and better than what they put out. We'll see Super 7 here in a minute. Updating some pictures on the Great White Project for the Machina. And I'm really excited about this. It's the shark. It is the Gloria figure, and it's their iteration, their take on a great classic that we never got in toy form. Here it is in its transform mode, and I do believe that the hood fins, the last thing about it was they were just going to have to clip on. That was the one thing that's not going to pop up. I do believe that's the route they're going to go. I thought it was going to be a combination of the fins pop up and you have some small fins, and then you add these to the top. So I'm not 100% sure on that. I thought that's the route they're going with it, but I do believe there's going to be some clipping onto it, which is fine. I mean, you got 90% of it transforming on its own. Something that even Kenner couldn't accomplish is why I think they didn't make it. All right, so here's all the pre-orders that Ramen Toy has going on right now. The Phantom Foil for early bird price of $112. That is the system for the Naval Commander, and then you can get the Naval Commander. And then if you get pre-order both of those, I think you get 15% off. Also, for $70, you can get the Apache Commander, the Masters of the Verse head for your He-Man figure, and then pre-order the land drone. It's amazing. It's an awesome land drone. $70 instead of spending $800 on a vintage one or $1,000 or whatever. Red Gullwing is, I think that one's coming pretty soon, and then of course you get the 2 sets of the TMNT stands. Okay, so Super 7 is making some of these reaction figures for Dungeons and Dragons, and so these are like Dungeons and Dragons that go with the game, not more or less toy line, and they're pretty popular already. So we have the Sorceress, as you can see, and we have the Ifriti, and then we have the Githyanki. I guess I said those right. I hope I said those right. Still, they look really cool. I clicked over to BBTS to pre-order one of each, and the only one in stock was the Sorceress. So the other 2 have sold out of BBTS. You still get them on Entertainment Earth, but a couple of them I clicked on Amazon, and it's like not found. So interesting. They're pretty popular so far. So I would say best bet, Entertainment Earth right now. Neca Target Haul-A-Thon Week 2. We've got a few things going on there. Pretty cool. We do have the Last Ronin, red Last Ronin for, is it Raphael? And then we have the Rex 1, which I thought that was Week 1. I mean, I already picked my Rex 1 up on the Week 1. And then we have Mona Lisa and Dirk Savage, which I did not see in the wild, but looks pretty cool. Looks pretty cool. And this past week I was able to actually pick up the 2 Ninja 2-pack for NECA. That's pretty cool. And they also have this version of Munsters. This is the Frankenstein Munsters kind of deal. So it's pretty cool that they're doing this, and it's something that you can get. I don't know if there's much more information. I saw this one, and truthfully, I didn't even look it up or anything. I just saw it in the wild. I was like, what is this? This is interesting. But I didn't pick it up, though. So I kind of want the glow-in-the-dark one. Okay, so more Turtles stuff. This is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Turtles Mutant Mayhem. A movie stuff going on here. I don't know much about it. I really stick to NECA when it's Turtles, and don't veer too far out of that. But this is cool. It's interesting. It's something. Hopefully the kids get into it. Kind of reminds me of 2006 in a way, but it's its own thing, obviously. And then here's the pizza throwing party wagon. So yeah, that's right now at Walmart. They have pizza throwing turtles. So it all kind of rhymes, right? Is that what George Lucas says? It rhymes. Okay, so here we go with Super 7 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Ultimates Wave 10. Pre-order is up. You get the Rat King, Casey Jones, Mirage, Classic Rocker Leo, and Ninja April. So looking at the head sculpt on that Rat King, it doesn't quite look toy. People that are in this line are into toy. I haven't gone into this line because of the fact that I want the tune. I'm tempted with that Casey Jones, though. I don't know. I'm tempted with that Casey Jones, but everything else I don't really need. But those collecting Super 7, I've heard a lot of mixed emotions and reactions to this. Hiya Toys making a 4.1 inch tall, 17 articulation, fully posable Cobra Commander with what appears to be a vac metalized helmet. This thing is awesome. This isn't truly 100% a real American hero. It is a little bit stylized. Had Classified done this day one with their Cobra Commander, I'd have been fine with it. I would have been like, we don't need a new Cobra Commander. But this is awesome. It's $20 for a 4-inch figure, but I'm probably going to have to get in on it. It looks great. I'm not really tempted with their Snake Eyes at all, but I'm tempted with this because this looks good. Wonder how many figures they'll put out. I mean, they don't make very many figures, so I don't think they'll do even 10 total figures, but you can mix this in with any of your modern era type of 4-inch Joes. All right, so another G.I. Joe news. The Classified stuff that's going on this week was pretty good. I really did like pretty much every release coming out, and I do want to correct something I made 2 videos talking about this mostly. so far, but one directly talked about this, one talked about what we need. So the Valkyrie female officer set, I misunderstood the price. I thought they were $45, and I didn't pre-order them. When I went back to look and people pointed out they're $55, I was like, you're right. They're $55. That is not a good value. I thought they were cheaper because it was a 2-pack, not more expensive because it's a 2-pack. So that doesn't make much sense. Anyway, but every one of these looks like a good release. I pre-ordered most of them, but I didn't pre-order like doubles of them like I would usually do because the prices are getting too high and because of the warehouse sale. That warehouse sale, a lot of stuff I just paid full price for, I got for like a third of the price. I got 35% off. And so if I get a second or a third, I'm getting it in a warehouse sale, or I'm just going to do without. That's just the way it's going to be going forward. You know, hard times. That's how it goes. But anyway, you can check out my videos. I talk more about all of this stuff. But no O-ring, no retro, and they're ending retro, but with the Firefly and all that kind of stuff. There's name-only reveals. You find all that in my other videos. Okay, so we've got some Disney Gargoyles Ultimates NECA, and this is David Xanatos. I did not watch this show. I got sucked into buying those gargoyles because I feel like for $30, for $29.99 back in the day when they came out, those gargoyles are worth every cent. They're just massive. They have a lot of parts and they look great. I know the wings suck, but with this you get add-on wings for whichever one it goes with. So looks really good for the draped wings you come with it. I see why they're doing that because probably the human figures are not the draw to gargoyles. It's the gargoyles, but to build the whole universe, you got to have them. So there they are. Here's Eliza Maza. I don't know the lore. I haven't watched the show. I think it's a very nice looking figure for people talking about this figure and not liking it, but I think it's fine. I don't know. Again, you got to see the show. You got to watch the show, I guess. But she doesn't come with a whole lot, but the fact that they included the wings, that works. I mean, unless, of course, you really get upset, like, hey, they should have included the wings with the figure. I understand that. I don't know if this was planned all the time, but it probably was. Okay, now a whole lot of stuff with Star Wars, and I really like the fact that we got this nice little picture here, or shall I say a nice big picture. It showcases pretty much everything going on. So we've got Mando Week 1 Retro Collection, Mandoverse figures, so kind of cool. And so with this, we're getting, of course, another Baby Yoda. We're going to be getting another Mandalorian. We're going to be getting Chrysanthemum, Cad Bane. I'm definitely picking up Cad Bane. I'm probably picking them all up, I know, but Tusken Warrior, Fennec Shand. So with this, I felt like with the past few waves, I really just wanted to wait till I caught them on clearance for like $5 or $6, and I did for the most part. With this one, I might pick all of them up though, because they do look pretty good. I just think they've done a good job with this for the most part, even though I really want original trilogy. You know, where's original trilogy? All right, so Walmart has their crosshairs back up for order. I think it's just up for orders. It's stock right now for $26.48. So it is a little more expensive than it was before, but you know the show's out, and I think that the Bad Batch is a good show. So I'm really enjoying it. And if you want to grab a crosshairs, now they don't have a Hunter, and they don't have the original version of crosshairs, and they don't have any of the other original Bad Batch figures. It's just this one. And maybe whatever's kind of left over. You might probably get an Echo. Probably not even an Echo. You might be able to get a Tekka, and a Rekka. Nope, not even a Wrecker. So let me know what you think about this week's weekly news and review with all that's going on at TFcon, and just seems like everything coming from everywhere all at once. Yeah, it gets overwhelming. But anyway, let me know what you're picking up, what you're not picking up, what you're passing on, what do you like, what is flashy that you like to see. Titanium Hanger out.